Welcome back to another episode of the J&A podcast. It's been a while, I've done my separate little part of it. JJ's done his separate little part of it because of just connecting issues. We're getting older. We don't have time to talk anymore, I guess. But that's not the point. The point is we're back and we're going to be talking about the championship games that are happening tomorrow, and I'm gonna let JJ talk about the times, but I gotta say this, as always, on the other side of the damn call, we got JJ. How you doing?
I'm doing good, and yes, there's nothing wrong with us. We don't hate each other. We have different schedules. I can't really explain it. Shit happens. The end. I can't really explain it. So, are you excited about the two matchups we have?
Yes, very. This is gonna be a really fun championship game or championship round.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you just want to dive right into it?
For sure. What game do you want to go right into?
We'll go right into the Rams Saints game. I'll let you open it up.
Yeah, because that's first.
Mhm.
All right. So you got a young quarterback that a lot of people thought was a bust, and now after 1 year, or after technically, it depends on how you think about it. I'm gonna say just 1 year. People wanted to call him really good, and you just can't do that. And then you got Drew Brees on the other side, who has been very slept on, and people finally want to start giving him recognition. But in my eyes, it's a little bit too late to give him recognition. He's deserved it for the past 6 years or longer. This is gonna be a really fun game. Like, I'm trying to think, how do you want to talk about it? Like, what do you want to bring up? So that's where I'm gonna hand it over to you. I just wanted to make that one little fact clear about the quarterback matchup, because that's always the funnest part of every game, in my opinion.
All right, absolutely. So, the Rams, as of right now, don't have anyone on the injury report, while the Saints have a couple of players, including defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins and left tackle Taron Armstead. So those could be two big losses for the Saints, potentially, if they are not cleared to play. And let's see here. Also, fun fact about both matchups, just in the general aspect of AFC and NFC championship games, the last road team, so keep this in mind when we're predicting, the last road team to win a championship game was the Baltimore Ravens in 2012, defeating the New England Patriots.
Are you serious?
That is the last time. So every home team has won their AFC and NFC championship games after that.
Oh my god.
It seems crazy. I know. I actually had to look it up to make sure.
Are you sure?
I'm 100%. I looked it up. I heard it on a couple of podcasts. I even did my own research. Yes, that is 100% confirmed. The last road team to win was Baltimore in 2012. So it's been like 5 years.
Alright, let's if this does or not, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna change any picks because of that right there.
Yeah. I was just throwing it out there for the people, just to have an idea.
Sure. That's pretty cool though.
It's crazy to think about, I know. But if you want to do any more like digging, like kind of talk about both teams and like how they got here, then we can make our picks. I think that's pretty simple.
Okay, well the Rams, because they won free agency.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints are here just because, I don't know, man. The Saints, they would have been in the same situation last year if it wasn't because of a miracle. We all know that.
Yeah.
So I can't even talk shit on the Saints because we would be talking about them at the same time last year if it wasn't because of a miracle, like I said. So nothing bad with the Saints.
The Saints are a very interesting team in terms of like where they ranked statistically.
And like, just a little secret is I'm not even a big fan of their roster personally. Like, if you want to go off straight talent, the Rams should fuck up the Saints, but that's not how it's going to go,
Yeah.
This is true. The Saints has the Rams have a better roster. The main thing they don't have that's that better is a quarterback, and that's where the Saints. That's why I think the Saints win a lot of their games, because they have a quarterback not to fold and break down in key situations.
Right.
Uh, what's some questions you got that we should try to break up for the?
Okay. So, mainly, my main question, and this goes for all four teams, by the way, playing this weekend. Whoever loses, whatever two teams loses, do you look back on the season and say, well, that was a success. You got to the championship game.
Yeah. Let's see here. Well, this is for the first time in forever. I'm actually going to say this. I think it's going. If the Patriots lose, that's what it's going to be for them. Because how in the hell did they make it to the championship game with that roster? You know what I'm saying?
With the Saints roster, correct?
No. With the Patriots roster, the Patriots made it to the champ. Yeah, no, you're good. I might have messed something up. But the Patriots made the championship with that roster, and if they lose, they have nothing to be ashamed of. The fact that they made it that far and they knocked out who they knocked out is big. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You know the saying, if I go down, you go down with me. And in the Chargers, it's going to be a team that went down with them, and that's a big success for them. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the Patriots in depth, but another thing I did want to bring up, and this goes for my team too, Green Bay, because you'll see where I get at here in a second, but you look at the Rams, who are the guys that everyone's hiring? Guys that have literally known Sean McVay. So I think this is a huge game for not only Sean McVay, but for Jared Goff as well. Because of what you said, people looked at him as a bust. He gets a new offensive mind and head coach in there, and he ends up playing pretty damn good. So I feel like it's a huge game for that duo in particular. For Sean Payton and Drew Brees, it'd be nice for them to get another Super Bowl or get to the dance once again, but I feel like McVay needs it more, and Goff needs it more.
I think McVay, fuck off, right now, okay?
Okay.
I say McVay needs it more so they can look at it next year and say, okay, he might be able to get to places, but can he win in them big places, you know? Something that always haunts a lot of these players, a lot of these coaches. You say, okay, they get here a lot, yeah, but what do they do once they get there? You know, wins. You got to get wins. You have to get wins. Regular season wins don't matter. They matter for you to get to the playoffs, but when you think of failure, you're not going to think about in the regular season. You're going to think about in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
you could go to the Super Bowl every fucking year, but did you get a ring? No. You know, you get me? You can't talk shit and be like, yeah, we made it to the Super Bowl. You mean you can, because I guess if it's like for the fans and stuff in your division or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that and be proud of it, because guess what? You didn't walk out with a championship.
Right.
That's how I think about it. So.
Yeah, and going back to the Saints.
Oh, you don't agree with me?
Wait, what were you even saying, dude? I'm sorry, dude. I'm like multitasking. What were you even saying?
JJ.
I'm like answering texts from like 3 different people, trying to listen. What were you
You're so
saying?
unprofessional.
What were you saying? Just do it like a summary of what you were saying.
Alright, quick and easy. Pretty much more of the story is it's okay. You can go to the Super Bowl, the playoffs, all you want, but it's important for McVay because he keeps on losing in big games, and you have to be able to win in big games to be considered a good coach. Pretty much more of the story is what I said.
The moral of the story. I think he's a good coach. I definitely do agree with your point of he's got to win big games. I definitely do agree with that. And you know, he won a pretty big one against Dallas, so we'll see what he does on the road.
Is that really a big one?
Yeah, because Dallas made it to the playoffs. Even though we don't like Dallas, they made it, and they beat them. You got to beat who's in front of you. If it were the Bears and they beat them...
The reason they beat Dallas is because they were a better team.
Yeah, and they dominated them at the line of scrimmage, but I mean, I'm just saying, we picked the Colts to win. The Chiefs were the better team, so.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck happened with all that. That was crazy.
Yeah, man. Goat Mahomes showed up. No, I'm just playing. Did you know he didn't even throw a touchdown pass against the Colts?
Mahomes?
He didn't throw a touchdown pass in that game, and they won.
Are you serious?
So, Damian Williams had a rushing touchdown. I think Darnell Williams, the other Williams back, he had a touchdown run. Tyreek Hill had a rushing touchdown, and Patrick Mahomes had a rushing touchdown. So Patrick Mahomes didn't even throw a touchdown in this game, or in that game.
This is actually crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, and all we've been talking about is his arm, and they didn't even have to throw a touchdown to win. But anywho, we're not talking about the Chiefs right now. What I was going to say about the Saints is statistically they're a very strange team. So if you look on defense, right, because obviously you look at the big players on the Rams defense, they'll show up for the big game like they did last week, holding Zeke to under 50 rushing yards. But we're going to be talking about the Saints. So the Saints are second in run defense, but they're 28th in pass defense. They're a weird team defensively. And when they faced Todd Gurley in the regular season, I think they held him under 75 rushing yards. I think he had 73. So, obviously it's different. I mean, you know the old saying, it's hard to beat a great team twice. So, with everything being said about this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy, Aaron Donald this, Drew Brees that, who are we going with in this game? Who's going to go to Atlanta in 2 weeks and represent the NFC?
Oh, see, this is the hardest one I think I've ever had. They're such good teams, but I'm gonna have to go with my gut, and I feel like my gut's gonna be wrong. But it's contradicting yourself. But I have to go with the Rams. I mean, the Rams are just a better team, and I know that doesn't really say that much, but there has to be a point where the better team wins, and this has to be, in my eyes, this has to be it.
I understand your statement.
I got to. I have to go with the Rams. I want to say the Saints so bad because it's Drew Brees, and I know what Drew Brees is impossible of, and supposedly everybody else in the world does now, but where was that 2 years ago? But we won't talk about that. But I don't know, man. It's crazy.
You know, this is, both of these games are tough, but they have their different variables of being tough. I think this one's harder to choose, and you know, I look at the Rams, of course. We can talk about that roster for days and all the money they spend. By the way, fun fact, they're projected to have more cap space than the Detroit Lions next year. The Rams. And they have all those big contracts. And I know the Lions only have like one big contract. I looked it up yesterday.
I would want that fucking GM then.
I'm telling you, they go to a different bank. They don't go to the same bank, I guess. But yeah, this Rams team is stacked, and this Saints team last year could, like you said, could have been in the exact same position, playing the Eagles instead of the Vikings playing the Eagles. And who knows? A lot of people were saying last year that game could have went differently. The Eagles-Saints potential matchup, like the results could have been different. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna pick the popular selection. I'm gonna take the home team for this go around right here. I like the Rams in terms of like their personnel and what they like to do. They showed up last week. Even though Jared Goff didn't play great, he made those third down conversions. He did what he had to do. And of course, CJ Anderson, aka Mike Tolbert, basically was running wild on Dallas, and so was Todd Gurley. And I think if they can just send a message to the Saints run defense, this could go south in a hurry. But we saw what the Eagles did. They came out 14-0, picked off Drew Brees on his first pass, and crickets for the next 3 quarters. And I'm not saying the Saints are going to do that to the Rams, because the Rams are a totally different team in offense. But man, if Michael Thomas goes off for another big game, look out, because you saw what he did to Marcus Peters.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get 200 yards. I think he'll get 100, 110, and that's not really a stretch because of what he did last week. I don't think he'll get 200 again. If he does, I mean, y'all got to put him somewhere in the top 5. That's all I'm going to say.
See, that's something, I'm not going to make this big, I'm not going to talk about this long. That's something I think you're wrong on too. I do not see him bullying Marcus Peters again like that. It's not happening, brother.
I don't even think Marcus Peters is going to be on him. I think they're going to put Aqib Talib on him.
I don't think so. I think they're going. I think he's going to fight. He's going to fight to be on him again because that straight embarrassed him, and then of course it did. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was embarrassed, but Michael Thomas ain't even the first receiver this year to do, not necessarily do that to that degree, but to really just show him up. But I will say this, I expect him to play a lot better. I expect him to send a message, get an interception in the first half. But, listen, if he does go off again, Michael Thomas that being, he will have had 2 playoff games this postseason in which he got over 150 yards. That's all I'm saying. Where's Odell's 150-yard games in the playoffs?
He don't get there.
My point. But still, Odell's a great receiver. Odell's a great receiver, and he will stay in the top 5. But y'all gonna have to start putting respect on Michael Thomas's name.
Well,
we're not gonna just let these.
There's so many other people you gotta put respect in.
Who? Who's out there besides Michael Thomas and a couple other guys?
I might have him in the top 5. Okay, we got Julio, Antonio Brown, Odell, then you got Keenan Allen, and then Michael Thomas. So
Keenan Allen over DeAndre Hopkins?
No, he didn't make top 5. Aaron had a blonde moment. He did not make top 5. He's gonna have to come in at 6.
Keenan Allen and Devontae Adams are in the same tier.
I don't want to hear about it. That's my bad. I didn't think about him.
I was about to say, man, he had 100.
Antonio Brown, Odell, DeAndre Hopkins. See this? We're going to disagree. You don't like Keenan Allen at 5.
I like Keenan Allen. I just don't think he's a top 5 receiver. Not yet. He's missed a lot of time, and he's finally played these last 2 years. Let him get another great year in. But man, you got Hopkins below Odell?
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah.
Damn, what does DeAndre Hopkins have to do to surpass Odell? Let me hear this.
Yep.
I'm just curious.
I'm not even being mean. Give him. I'll give it to him when I feel like he deserves it. I think he deserves it.
Okay.
Maybe next year. How about that, Dill?
115 catches for no drops.
If he has one more good year, I'll give it to him over Odell.
Alright, sure. Well, you will. I already have him.
I never heard any of this DeAndre Hopkins talk is better than Odell until Odell got hurt. Nobody wanted to talk shit until he got hurt. And as soon as he got hurt, then y'all started questioning.
I said it the year before. I don't want to be in that they conversation. I said it the year before. I said DeAndre Hopkins might be better. And this year, same energy. When Odell's healthy and DeAndre's healthy, they're both great. It's a coin flip, like I've been saying for 2 years. But man, y'all are killing me.
Just Odell has shown me too much, brother.
Okay, all right. That's a different discussion for a different day. But I'm picking the Saints. You're picking the Rams, correct?
Correct.
All right, on to the next game. The New England Patriots are traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. A couple of fun facts before I turn it over to you. The Patriots have not won a road AFC championship game since 2004. And I know we're not going to factor history into what we're picking. We're going with our picks. 0-3 since 2004. And all 3 teams, ironically, that the Patriots lost to on the road in the AFC Championship games were 2 teams that had Peyton Manning on them. So that's where people come in and say, oh, Peyton Manning beat him 3 times at home. That's where that comes from. And the Chiefs, they get to host their first ever AFC championship game. I know it's going to be a big deal for them, and I know, Patrick Mahomes and that whole roster, and Andy Reid especially, is geeked to have this matchup. So do you have anything you want to add?
I feel like Bill Belichick and the Patriots want to bully Patrick Mahomes. They have a history of bullying young quarterbacks. Now, keep in mind that, keep in mind that Patrick Mahomes is a different type of young quarterback. Of course, he's young, but he's a different talent in my eyes. The only thing I hate on Patrick Mahomes about is he just throws that big shot without being safe about it. You know what I'm saying? And that costs them in like big moments. It's just I thought Bill Belichick is gonna bully Patrick Mahomes that day. It's gonna be fun to watch.
I said it once, I'll say it again. It's hard to beat a great team twice. And Mahomes, who, you're predicting is probably going to get bullied, and I'm not going to necessarily disagree with you. He looked pretty damn good against that Patriots defense. He did have some turnovers. Expect it. Young quarterback. Sometimes you're going to make bad plays and mistakes that you shouldn't make. But Patrick Mahomes has already proven this defense ain't shit to him. This ain't the best defense he's played, but it's Bill Belichick and that mindset. And Bill Belichick in the playoffs, man, he's a different animal. Go ask the Chargers, your division rival, all about him. He'll tell you you can't run zone coverage against Tom Brady and expect to win. So, the Chiefs, the defense, man, the biggest weakness of this team, they're one of the worst graded secondaries in football. But at home, they do only give up an average of 19 points a game, roughly. So, who knows? I'm not saying they'll hold the Patriots to 20 points, but they play better at home than they do on the road. And that is a thing to keep into consideration.
Yeah. You ready to hear what our picks are?
Yeah, let's go ahead, but I will add one more thing. This is kind of like this isn't even like a rant, this is just more of a factual thing, but there were people after the Colts game where the Chiefs won like 31-13 or whatever, saying that Andrew Luck doesn't have enough help. And I'm sitting here looking at his Pro Bowl tight end and his really good receiver T.Y. and that offensive line who just had one bad game. And Marlon Mack, who's been running wild in the playoffs, and I'm thinking, damn, he really doesn't have enough help, does he? In sarcasm.
That awesome. See, me and you don't think of things the same way. That I've realized. It's like, I feel like that offensive line was running on not luck, I can't think of the right word, but they're not going to be the same offensive line next year. They're not going to be last in the league for giving up hits. They're going to give up. They're going to give up a lot more hits than they did last year. So going into next year, I'm not even going to say that offensive line is going to be a help next year. In my eyes, it's not. It's not. But like I said, anything can happen. I like we were talking about the other day. I really like Quentin Nelson and what he's done for them. And if they keep it up, they keep it up. I just don't see him keeping it up. Something I'm looking forward into is, I know this is kind of contradicting because we're not even supposed to be talking about these guys, but if they get Le'Veon Bell, you probably knew I was about to say that. That's gonna be fun. That's fun. That's gonna be fun. That's really fun.
The Colts are projected to have the most amount of cap space in the league, so they could probably get Le'Veon and Antonio.
On Le'Veon. That's a really good fucking football team.
I don't want to hear shit about Andrew Luck does not have help after that. That's all I'm saying.
Now,
I don't want to hear it.
It's not automatic. That's what's going to happen. Like we don't even know what's going on with Antonio Brown all the way yet.
Right. We don't. I'm just saying hypothetically, if they wanted to get both, they have the money to get both via trade and free agency.
Which would be fucking.
And they'd still have about, I don't know how much they'd have left over, but they'd still have a lot. I know that.
It's crazy. This is gonna be this is gonna be really awesome to watch.
But of course, we'll do all of our off-season podcasts about, going over the team seasons, free agency, draft, grading last year's rookies. We'll talk all about that in the future.
Yeah.
But you want to add any other information before we lock in our picks?
Something that you obviously thought I was going to say, this is going to be a really fun fucking football game.
Yeah, I think we got two great coaches. Bill Belichick, who's obviously more accomplished this time of year, and Andy Reid, who continues to be innovative, and he's one of the longest tenured head coaches other than Belichick, so it's going to be great.
Right, I wasn't going to say this, but I do have one more thing to say before we lock in our picks. I know you're thinking Patrick Mahomes, thinking Tyreek Hill, and that roster, right?
Okay.
What is Andy Reid known for in the playoffs?
I know exactly where you're going, and yeah, he's known for not coming up big in big moments.
Yep. I know that's. That's all I had to say.
Wait, hold on. Are you assuming that I'm picking the Chiefs before I make my pick?
Kinda.
You're lying.
Alright, you go first.
You're lying. I'm picking New England, dude. I'm going for the marketable matchup of Drew Brees, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. And I know the memes about this is the Falcons fans' worst nightmare. I wasn't going to really talk about that, but I think this is going to be a great matchup. A lot of people want this type of matchup. Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, two quarterbacks for different reasons why they're considered the greatest of all time in a lot of people's eyes. So we're going to see basically two of the best go at it. It's like if we had gotten a LeBron James, Kobe Bryant finals in the NBA. It's something along those lines. I think it'd be great for TV.
And you know what I have?
I'm assuming it's not the Kansas City Chiefs.
No, I gotta go with the New England Patriots as well. Pretty much literally everything you said. And how can I say this? Because I feel like you'll have something. It's still Tom Brady, okay? Just like if it was Aaron Rodgers, it's still Aaron Rodgers that's in that situation. The three quarterbacks that I know for sure. Obviously, there's more, but that I can put on a bad team, and I know I can beat a good team. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, not in any order. That literally, those are the three quarterbacks that I know could beat a really good team, even though their roster doesn't match up with it. And guess who was one of them three? Tom Brady. So this.
And yeah, it's crazy to think that this New England roster hasn't been all that great. And listen, I'll give them all the credit in the world last week for taking it to the Chargers. Now, I know you picked the Chargers. I ended up picking New England in the long run. James White tied an all-time record for most receptions in a playoff game with 15. He had 15 catches, Aaron. 15. He's a running back.
Yeah.
And Julian Edelman, I believe, was...
Is that a bad thing?
I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing. I know everyone jokes around, including myself, trust me, of the whole dink and dunk, 3 yards to James White. Oh, that's what makes him the GOAT. But man, yeah, I'm just going to say this. You can't run zone coverage against Tom Brady. It's not going to work. We've seen the Denver Broncos in the past with Talib and Chris Harris and all them boys just run straight man-to-man. We've seen Ravens teams run straight man-to-man. So that's the key. You're going to have to man up with these receivers. And Julian Edelman, a man that operates in space, really does his dirty work in zone coverage. So Julian Edelman, by the way, second in all-time playoff receptions. He became second this past weekend.
Okay, this is gonna be fun, champion. You got me excited for the championship games now. This is gonna be fun.
Now, since we made our picks, would you like to know? It's like a little fun fact. It's like an ESPN power index for teams that are projected to go to the Super Bowl. Would you like to hear the percentages that they went with?
I can already tell you who Vegas is sucking whose dick, but you can go ahead and say it.
It's not really Vegas, it's ESPN, but yes, same shit.
You know what? Yeah, same shit, different day, right?
Yeah, same shit, different, company. But
Fuck you.
the Kansas City Chiefs. No, it's the Saints. The Saints, I think, come in at 34%. It's either the Chiefs or the Saints, and I think the others like 33%. So they have like a 1% difference. I can't remember exactly which team was 34 and which team was 33. But anyway, yep. The Rams were an 18% favorite, and the Patriots were a 15% favorite, which I think is absurd. But they were
because of the roster.
I don't care. They got the coach and the quarterback. Just like you said, you can put them on a trash team, and they're gonna keep you in the ball game. So that's the way I look at it. Just like what you hit on. So you're predicting a Rams-Patriots Super Bowl rematch from 2001, I believe it was, when Brady got his first championship, and Belichick as a duo.
Hey, will this be Brady's last championship? Oh my God! What a story!
I don't know, dude. Something about he just wants to play. You could tell, he just wants to keep playing.
What a story, though, JJ. Think about that.
I mean, it
started in LA. It ends in LA, baby.
Well, in Atlanta, but against LA, yeah. That's where the legacy started. Well, wouldn't it technically end with the Rams just stomping a mud hole in them? The Rams get their comeuppance.
Wait, do you have the Rams beating them if that happens?
Oh, if that happens, no. I mean, we'd have to see 2 weeks from now what happens. Somebody can get injured at practice, We'd have to see. But no, my Super Bowl matchup, Saints-Patriots. Yours is Rams-Patriots. I like your story, but I like mine, man. 2 GOATs, 1 stadium.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. That's marketable right there. Same thing with the Rams. All these matchups are marketable. Hell, even if it were Chiefs-Rams Part 2, from their big 50-point game, or if it was, Chiefs-Saints, is it a passing of the torch for Drew Brees to Patrick Mahomes? Both Texas natives. So I think I like all these potential matchups, but we locked ours in. I like that, though. We both agreed with the Patriots. That was good. I was expecting you to pick Kansas City for some reason.
What?
I was expecting you to pick them because you picked the Chargers to beat the Patriots in New England, so to me it didn't make any sense. I was like, oh, you're going to pick the Chiefs because you're trying to see the dynasty in.
No. That's how much respect I have for the Chargers.
Yeah, after the Patriots kicked their ass in the first half, pretty much called it ball game. It was like 35-7.
Awesome.
That was
sad.
Chargers, bro.
I do feel bad for Phillip Rivers, though. I do like Phillip. I like him.
I did too, but man, I said in my video, man, him and Anthony Lynn got to show me something, and all they showed me was they couldn't really adjust as well as I thought they could. But man, I like the potential of both of our Super Bowl matchups potentially. Plot twist, it ends up being like Chiefs Rams Part 2. Like, I don't know. I like it though. But of course, for Pro Bowl week, can we agree on this for Pro Bowl week? For a video idea.
What do you want to agree on?
I want to propose a video idea for Pro Bowl week because we're not covering the Pro Bowl.
For sure.
We're gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna be top 5, top 10, but we're gonna be doing a list of things to fix about the Pro Bowl. because we're
Right
not
now?
watching that shit. No, next week when it's Pro Bowl time.
Okay. Alright.
Any final thoughts before I let you do the outro?
I think we hit on everything big.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're all just excited and we're ready for the action to get underway. I think that's as simple as that. Now, hold on, one more thing. I'm so sorry. Jesus, I just thought of this. Who do you think's going to be the X factor in the Rams-Saints game, based on who you picked? I'm so sorry, I just remembered this.
In the Rams-Saints game?
Yeah, you picked the Rams to win, so who do you think will be the biggest X factor for the Rams? I should have did this earlier. I just thought of it.
Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks. I like that because he... Yeah. I like
You
that.
like that, don't you?
I did. Well, because I picked the Saints to win, I guess my biggest X factor for the Saints, regardless of what happens, I'm going to go Mark Ingram. All the attention's on Kamara and Michael Thomas. Mark Ingram's going to remind people, hey, I'm a Saints running back too. Like, I was running the show before Kamara got here. I like both of our picks, though. A former Saint player and a forgotten Saint player.
Just a little, just I know this is not really that important, but it is to me. So you know what's been going on this whole time that we've been playing the game?
What's been going on?
I've been playing a Madden game, okay?
You have? Oh, I've been on this screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I've been playing a Madden game, and now I'm in the second overtime in this fucking game.
Oh my god. Alright.
He went down the field on me into overtime, and he tried to do something special, and then I got a sack and made it like second down and 28, and that knocked him out of field goal range. And this is a crazy game, but I'm sorry. But he should have won the game because it was 7-7, and he was at my 5-yard line, so he had a 5-yard kick, right?
Right.
Well, he wanted a touchdown, so he did a play action pass, and I intercepted it and took it in overtime.
Damn. Alright, well let's get through the final X factor before we close it out. That does sound like an exciting game. We both picked the Patriots, so who do you think is going to be the Patriots' biggest X factor?
The Patriots' biggest X factor.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. That's an interesting one.
He's going to be the reason they win. He's going to be the reason they lose. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. I can't explain it right now, but you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And
I get what you're saying. I absolutely get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm not picking the quarterback.
This is his game to win. This is his game to lose. Whatever happens, happens.
I'm not picking Tom Brady.
You can't get mad at me for though.
I'm not picking him. I'm just putting it out there. The biggest X factor. Well, we know what James White can do. We know what Sony Michel can do. We know what Julian Edelman can do. We know what Gronk can do. We know what Brady can do. Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan had... No. I'm not even being funny. It was a playoff game. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but he went like absolutely ballistic. Like he had like 180 yards on like 9 catches, and he had like 2 touchdowns. I wonder if Chris Hogan is going to be the unexpected guy. I know it sounds crazy. It's like you over here going with Mr. Brady. I'm like, listen, if they game plan for Edelman and Gronk, and they're doing decent in the run game, and they have somebody accounting for James White, Chris Hogan better step it up, mate.
Well, we gotta talk about something because I'm almost over with overtime too, so we gotta talk about something.
fill in the time, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just anything you want to talk about, since we haven't. We'll be nice to the viewers, since we haven't really been able to talk about that much. Interception. This is my game. Oh my god! I'm just gonna kick the field goal. I don't care.
All right. Well, with that, you want to do an outro after you make the field goal?
Oh my god, okay, ready? Hang on, let me check. Oh, he's about to ice the fuck out of me.
Oh man, Cody, Parky.
Alright, run the Pepsi commercial, my dude.
Nah.
He just almost clocked it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Did you win though?
I won.
There we go.
Second overtime. It's second overtime. I've never had a game go to second overtime since I've been playing Madden. It's in 2 years. It's the last 2 years of Madden.
All right, with an exciting high right there. You want to close the show? What's up?
Wait, I'll close the show after I say one more thing, okay?
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
won't never be able to guess the team I used and the team I faced.
Bro, I'm not, cause I don't know. Just give me a hint.
I used the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh God, this is our year.
The other guy used the Falcons.
The Falcons? Well, damn. I was gonna say, did he use the Rams?
No, that'd be some shit.
Damn.
The Rams are overpowered in this game, honestly. If you use the Rams on this game, well, it's like using Golden State in 2K. You're a bitch.
Man, if you use Golden State, I mean, yeah, you're pretty much a bitch. Everyone in the starting lineup's over. It's like an 87 plus.
Alright, guys. Thank you for doing this with me, dude.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have enjoyed. Go check out both of our channels. That is at Crew Beast 242 and then at JJ Domination, because he's a dominator and his name's JJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speak
so, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hit that like button, comment anything. If you disagree, honestly, this is how petty I am. If you disagree with anything we say on this podcast, we will personally bring you in on the podcast and have a talk with you.
And you know what? If you're too scared to come on the podcast, me and Aaron will both drag you in the comment section. We're gonna double team you.
Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Check out both of our channels and peace out.